How are you?
4:59.
Good. It's Monday.
Doesn't feel like Monday. A lot of enthusiasm for Monday.
Oh my
Feels like it should be Tuesday
It feels like it should be Friday,
or Friday.
but it's Monday. All right. Good afternoon or good evening, everybody. Welcome to our trip to Marine Corps Air Station Cherry Point, where the President and the First Lady will be attending a Friendsgiving meal hosted by Robert Irvine Foundation as part of the First Lady's Joining Forces initiative. Marine Corps Air Station Cherry Point is home to nearly 9,500 active duty, reserve, and guard personnel, and just over 8 military family members. MCAS Cherry Point plays a critical role in the 2nd Marine Expeditionary Force and is home to the 2nd Marine Aircraft Wing and the Marine Corps Fleet Readiness Center East, which performs work on aircraft and aircraft components used by the Marine Corps, Navy, and other services. On the base today, and the First Lady service members and their families and serve part of the Thanksgiving meal prepared by Chef Irvine. After serving Thanksgiving meals, they will meet with members and families from MCAS Cherry Point, Marine Corps Base, Camp Lejeune, and Marine Corps Air Station New River. Earlier this afternoon, President Biden had the opportunity to speak with Colorado Governor Jared Polis following the deadly shooting in Colorado Springs over the weekend. The president extended his condolences and offered to provide support in any way that would be helpful. He committed to continuing to press Congress for an assault weapons ban because thoughts and prayers are just not enough. We are shocked and saddened by the devastating loss of life and destruction following the earthquake in Indonesia's West Java province. We send our heartfelt condolences to all of those impacted by the disaster. The United States and Indonesia share a deep and enduring partnership, and President Biden was just there, as you know, for the United States is standing by to provide aid and support if required. Even a strategic partnership with the Indonesia's Disaster Management Agency, and for more than 20 years has supported Indonesia's disaster response capabilities, including $2.9 million this year to build capacity for first responders, local communities, and non-governmental organizations and respond to climate-induced and seismic disasters like this one today. Also, we have a bit of good news for families hitting the road this week for Thanksgiving. Gas prices are now at their lowest since early March, with the national average at $3.66, 11 cheaper than last week and $1.35 cheaper per gallon since June. And it's saving American families with 2 cars about $140 per month. That's important savings, and President Biden is committed to continuing to do everything he can to bringing those prices down further. Lastly, got some good news. Some more good news. We've been making a strong push for Americans to get their COVID and flu shots so they can have a safe and healthy holiday season. More than 35 million Americans have gotten their updated COVID shot, and the daily vaccination numbers continue to increase, and we are aggressively working to ensure more and more get their shots. To help with this push, Doctors Fauci and Jha will be joining me in the briefing room tomorrow to discuss our progress on vaccinations and new actions to increase those numbers. So we're excited to have them both in the briefing room tomorrow. Colleen, you want to kick us off?
Sure. On the Colorado shooting, I know the president has been talking a lot about an assault weapons ban. That doesn't necessarily seem like something that's going to happen quickly in the new Congress. I just wondered what else the president can be doing or what the administration can be doing with regard to gun control, particularly as the shooting continues.
Let me just remind everybody that just a couple of months ago, the president was able to sign into law a gun reform legislation, which hadn't been done in 30 years, and we were able to understands that it doesn't stop there, that we need to do more, especially with assault ban weapons. So we need to do the work. But again, remember, what we were able to do a couple months ago would happen. So look, again, the president and the first lady are truly saddened and send their condolences to the families who lost their loved ones. As we can be with what they're dealing with their grief. We're going to continue to work with Congress to try and to make sure that we continue the work that we started and making sure that we be safe. And we're going to continue to do that work.
Another one, sorry. He was in the last, knocking down the last rail strike. You can give us an update on where it stands, what's happening?
So I think you guys got a statement from us today, but just to reiterate, as the president has said from the beginning, a shutdown is unacceptable because of the harm it would inflict on jobs, families, farms, business, country. A majority of unions have voted to ratify the tentative agreement, and the best option is still for parties to resolve this themselves. And that's what we're going to continue to call for. They should move forward in good faith and get this resolved. The president continues to be brief and to be briefed on this and really keep a close eye on what's occurring. Obviously, the most important thing to the president is American families. Making sure, again, that we have an economy that works for all. I don't have anything more to share on that.
Contingency plan if there's another strike in December?
So the president remains focused on protecting, like I said, American families, farms, businesses by avoiding a rail shutdown. We continue to urge both sides to finish their work in good faith and avoid even the threat of a shutdown, as we've been saying. But like we do for all issues, our team is preparing and planning for all possible outcomes, even as we continue to work to avert a shutdown. But our priority is making sure that we even avert the shutdown.
Is your team going to be involved in? Is the president intervening at all, or does he plan to?
As I said, he's being briefed. He remains focused again on protecting American families. As you know, Secretary Walsh has been very, very much engaged on this, and our focus is to make sure that we continue to protect American families, like I just mentioned, and we're going to continue to call on all sides to move forward in good faith and come to the table and make sure that we avoid a rail shutdown.
So, Karine, one question on oil. There's a report today that Saudi Arabia might be increasing production. They disputed that, but set prices, in particular WTI futures, down to the level at which the White House said might trigger purchases to replenish the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. So was the White House monitoring those prices today, and were any decisions made about whether to initiate those purchases?
So look, as you know, you've heard me say this, and you've heard this say this many times before. When it comes to OPEC Plus, we're not a party to OPEC Plus, and we refer you to any potential decisions that they might make. And as I just said at the top of the Gaggle, the president is going to continue to make sure that we do the work to lower costs for American families. Don't have anything to preview and moving forward on what a decision might be or might not be. Don't have anything else to share on that as it relates to the Strategic Petroleum Reserve.
It's a separate topic. Do you have an update on the White House's view or watching of the crypto markets and the fallout from the FTX bankruptcy?
Look, I talked about this earlier. I know it's been asked. Nothing new. The administration has consistently, as we have done for the past 20 months, if you will, maintained that without proper oversight, cryptocurrencies risk harming everyday Americans. In March, President Biden released an executive order on ensuring responsible development of digital assets. And this fall, pursuant to the executive order, we released a framework that outlined priority steps to mitigate the risk of cryptocurrencies and proposed measures to protect consumers, investors, and businesses. We have consistently urged Congress to take action to address regulatory gaps processed by digital assets and support legislation to better protect American consumers. Don't have more to share beyond that.
One more sort of in the sorry, one more in the internet sphere. The president's views on, or the White House's reaction to Elon Musk's decision to reinstate former President Trump to Twitter.
We just don't. We're just not going to comment on Twitter's business practices from here.
Even, I mean, I understand that, but this is bringing back somebody onto Twitter who used Twitter in a way that impacted January 6th, which this White House has been pretty vocal about.
I completely understand. If I heard reports correctly, the former president has also said that he's not going to return back to Twitter. I'm just not going to respond beyond that.
And on student loan repayment, on the freeze, do you have any update on the timing and when that decision will be made, when it'll lift it or not?
Look, as I said on Friday, we're examining all options. Our priority is making sure that we give the American families, American people, a little breathing room, which is why the president put forth a student debt plan, his student debt plan forgiveness. And as you know, we've had about 23, more than 20 million people sign up on the website to access the plan that the president put forward. So that shows that people are interested, and it's going to help a lot of people. Again, I said this on Friday, and I've said this many times. It's really unfortunate that Republicans and special interest groups get in the way on giving American middle-class Americans a little bit of a breathing room. This is going to help people, majority of people, 90% of people who will get this relief will be making less than $75,000. That's what we're talking about. That's what the president wants to focus on, making sure, again, that we give families that really need it, American people that really need it, that to be able to put money down on a house, to be able to start their family. And it's unfortunate that that's what Republicans want to do. Look, we took it to the highest court of the land. As you know, the Supreme Court wanted to get a clarification on this quickly. So we're confident in that process.
Putting contingency plans in place or anything, given court has tendency to lean these days?
Say, Colleen, as I said at the top when I was answering the question, is all options are on the table, and as soon as we have something to share, we certainly will do that.
Karine, now that the midterms are passed, as the administration in the White House, are you preparing for any staffing turnover at the cabinet level or senior advisor level? Are you preparing for folks to depart now that we're past the midterms?
I have no personal announcements to preview at all today or at this moment, but just a couple of things. The president is incredibly confident in his team here and is proud of the historic work that has been done these first 2 years. Just to name a few, as you all know, the most significant economic recovery package since Roosevelt, that's the American Rescue Plan, as you've heard us talk about, the largest infrastructure plan since Eisenhower, the bipartisan infrastructure law, the most sweeping gun reform bill since Clinton in 30 years that the president signed most recently, the landmark China competitive legislation already bringing manufacturing jobs back from overseas. That's the Chips and Science Act, which was also done in a bipartisan way. It's going to change the way businesses, manufacturers do business here. They're back to the U.S. and create good paying jobs. The largest climate change bill in history, that's the Inflation Reduction Act, that's going to make a difference and really attack the climate crisis that we have. We have made no secret of actively leading a diverse and wide effort to look for new talent from businesses like academia, labor, and other sectors. And that's just smart, prudent planning for the future. But I don't have any personnel announcements to make at this time.
Karine, it's been almost a year and a half since the Los Angeles mayor was nominated to be ambassador to India. I know there's a lot that is you're trying to fit into the lame duck session of Congress, but is the White House going to push the Senate to finally get a vote on Mayor Garcetti's nomination? I mean, that India is an important enough relationship that there should be an ambassador in place at some point.
Absolutely. India is a very important relationship that we have. You saw the president greet and meet very briefly with Prime Minister Modi just last week when he was in Bali. So really, it's an important relationship that that we truly respect. As for Mayor Garcetti, we are committed to getting him through the process. We are continuing to the Senate on making that happen. That is a priority of ours, and just don't have anything further to share on any strategy or anything else moving forward on that.
Discuss whether he's running for president again in 2024 when he's with his family over Thanksgiving.
Look, I'm not going to get into a private conversation that the president's going to have over the holiday with his family. I'm just going to, and I want to be careful, right? Because we're talking about an election, and I'm covered by that Hatch Act. But what I will say is just reiterate what the president said, basically what you just said, that he intends to in 2024, that he plans to run in 2024. And like he said, just reiterating what you just said to me, is that he's going to have a conversation with his family, but not going to get into what, when that's going to happen or what that's going to look like, especially since it's a private conversation that he'll have.
Thank you.
Great. Thanks, everybody. I haven't seen you on the road in a long time.